Hey guys, we are live. I am Heather with Head in the Clouds,
Andrés con charlas sencillas.
and you guys are watching Real Talk, where we are live bringing you all of the stuff you want to hear. So if we make a mistake while we're talking, just bear with us because we're not editing this, we're not sculpting it to make it beautiful. It is just how it is, and it's real.
What you see is what you get. What you hear, that is it. Simple as
Oh, I
that.
love that. Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Wait, say it again.
What you see is what you get. What you hear is what it is.
There we go.
So simple as that, right? Every time, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, you get to see, hear from us live on our YouTube channels, our Facebook pages, and incredible. Happy to be here again. Week flies by, and we started this about a month and a half ago, and seems like it was yesterday, right?
It does. It does feel like time has really flown by. And talking about being live and making mistakes and it not being edited. If you were here on Tuesday's show, you definitely know that's a fact because we were having all kinds of technical difficulties Tuesday.
It was great having Aaron, and even though we had so many technical issues, it was a great conversation, and we're gonna have him back again at some point next month, so we can get in more detail into his business and the things that are happening in his life. So stay tuned for that episode. We're gonna advertise it in time, and we're gonna um, make it better. Absolutely.
I was talking with my youngest daughter, Clara, the other day, and kind of talking about how even when things happen like that in our last show, you just, you keep me moving forward, you keep, persisting doing what you're doing. And that's what, Aaron did. We're hit with a situation that's out of your control. All you can control are the things that you can control in your moment, your little bubble right there. But you just have to have a positive attitude and keep moving forward. And she wasn't quite understanding my message, so I did an example for her, and I know everybody's probably had these days. It's like when you're running late for work and you go to get in your car and you have a flat tire. And so you're like, oh, I have a flat tire, but you don't have a spare. So then you have to like go to the tire shop. You get to the tire shop to get your tire, and they say they only take cash and you don't have any cash. So then you go to the bank to get cash, but it's after hours, the bank's closed, and you don't have your debit card. And it's just one thing after another. It just keeps piling up and piling up. And it's super easy to get very frustrated and to get very angry and to just be like, screw it, I'm done with everything. But I think why mindset is so important, because obviously we're humans. We're going to get like frustrated. We're going to get upset, but you can't give up. You got to keep,
Oh,
you know,
that's how it is. In fact, a similar situation happened to me a few months ago. I'm showing this client house, and we're gonna go to her restaurant, regroup, uh, and look at a few other options. I was gonna turn and do a U-turn to go back around, and I decided no, let me turn right here and go around the block. Actually, I went over a screw, tire, the air rapidly coming off. I
uh,
get to the restaurant, and I'm like, great. Can we, my tires rapidly coming out. The air is rapidly coming out. Can we postpone this? Check it out another time. Let me go try to get this fixed. I could have easily, just the whole day gone by. But no, we did our thing there. We eventually, I went to a tire shop nearby. Get there and they're like, "Oh, I'm about to close on 10 minutes." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And like, no, I'm the only one here. I don't have time right now. I'm like, can you at least put air and I'll take it somewhere else. And sure enough, I put air and then just drove another 20, 15 minutes to another place and got the tire fixed, got it all done, and that's it. But I got to finish the day with that client on good terms, and and I did not let that tire just ruin the rest of the day. One, get the tire fixed and continue the day as planned. And I just mentioned to you this morning everything that I have going on today.
I know.
and and I seriously, I went to drop my daughter off at school, and then I went over to uh, meet my wife for her job, and I feel like it took me an hour and a half just to be able to get that done. Something that would normally, the school is 10 minutes away and her job is 20 minutes away. So it's an hour and a half just to get that done. I'm like, there goes the morning, but yeah, it's absolutely. And the same thing happened yesterday with the interview on What's Working Wednesday. We had some technical difficulties, and we just, made it happen with what's available, given the circumstances. I started interviewing somebody else that wasn't uh, on the audience, and made it work. What happens? Not everything goes our way all the time. So, but we have to look at the best outcome regardless of the circumstances. And yeah, sometimes we want to throw things down and break things and be frustrated. We have all the right to do so, but we cannot let one single moment run the rest of the day.
Exactly. It's all about mindset. And it's hard. It's hard to keep yourself in that positive space when it feels like everything is going wrong and the world is just out to get you. But as soon as you switch into that like victim mentality, you lose that forward momentum that you had. As soon as you give yourself Aaron even talked about this. If you look for a reason to quit, you'll find one.
Yeah. And you find that a lot easier and a lot faster than the reason to continue to push forward. I always say we are our biggest obstacle in life, because opportunities are in front of us. It's how bad do we want it? What's our reason why? Just like we shared last time, having visualizing my experience and understanding on a deeper level the reason why I did what I do now. Um, you know, you need to have a strong reason why to continue to push you forward and not let anything, disrupt you from that path. We all have challenges, we all have obstacles, and sometimes just having the will to push forward and hearing somebody else, hey, come on, let's pick it up. Makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be on top. Everybody would be millionaires. Everybody would be living the life that they want to live. You have to work for it. You have to put in the hours. You have to put in the time. You have to do it. It's not easy.
It's not. Mindset, and I'll share this with you. When I plug into the mastermind, the mindset mastermind that we have every morning with Coach Raj, right?
Yeah, the one that I'm supposed to go to that I don't. Is that? I feel like I get called out on these all the time.
You already know. But truly, that the mindset where we dive into the different books, different content, whether it's personal growth, business related, we invite anyone to the industry, in any industry, to join us, because what it does on a mindset level, on a personal level, is much bigger than what you could do in your business, right? Just being able to hear other stories from other agents, different stages in their career, right? I've come across agents that have been in the business for over 20 years and they plug into the mindset and they're like, I never knew about this. Or since they plug in, magical things started happening to them. Their business started picking up. So it's really changing that mindset and getting into the mindset that things are possible. Sometimes it's just looking right next to you for the solution. But we're so focused in one way sometimes that we get to miss what's around us and the opportunities that are around us and the people that are around us that could help us. You don't have to do everything yourself. That's something that I struggle with growing up. I always had a hard time asking for help. And sometimes the help is right next to you. You just got to open your eyes. You just got to say, hey, can you help me with this? But it's coming to the mindset of understanding all of these things, that would allow you to ask for those help, that would allow you to venture into different areas, to try new things, to explore and dive deeper into your own business, into yourself. Otherwise, you get stuck, and most of the time you get stuck on your own head. and I think that happens to be a lot of times the biggest problem.
People definitely get in their own way all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for a lot of people, their biggest hater is themselves.
Yeah, look at us when we started this. We drove around it for multiple times. For the past year, I've been wanting to create content for my real estate business. Have I done it? No, because I made the content about myself rather than the people that I'm serving, right? And what I mean by that is I'm thinking I have to do certain things. I'm thinking I have to look a certain way. I have to have a certain language. That's not necessarily true. You know, what I'm here to do is provide my audience, provide my community with information that will facilitate the process of home buying and selling, right? And that's my ultimate goal. And that's the content that I need to put out there, regardless of everything and how I feel about certain areas. You know, it's for my audience, not for me. And once I get over that, then the content will be put out there, which is coming soon, by the way.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
To an iPhone near you.
It's coming. Great stuff is coming. So I'm excited for that. So
I'm super excited. I know we're making some changes at Cloud, and we're having some new technology, some new features, some awesome new features that are going to be dropping soon that will really help our agents in productivity. Productivity that will really help them that way, and they'll be able to really engage on a deeper level with their leads and not have so many things slip through the cracks, fall through the cracks. I cannot talk today at all. That's like, for somebody who talks so much, I'm really bad at it.
I don't know, Heather. I think every time we do the show, you say, "I can't talk today." I think you use all your talking at home with the kids.
Probably. I've got 6 kids, 5 that are still home age, 1 that's married and multiplying and having kids. So I have a lot of talking to do, Andres, a lot.
I figure so. It's understandable when we get up here and the words are not coming out as fluently as they do with the kids.
But hey, that's part of it, right? We're still here, we're still doing it.
Hey, it happens to me. It happens to me all the time. Even my wife's like that. I don't get you. I'm like, it's my accent. Don't worry about it. I'm like, you don't have an accent. I'm like, yes, I do. So always happens to me, especially working with clients. So all of a sudden I can't talk. I can't say nothing. So it's who I am, you know? Sometimes I'm not able to speak English nor Spanish, and nobody understands my Spanglish.
Oh, speaking of not Spanglish, but there was the other day I was driving and you told me something and I was like, oh yeah, I need to go change that. And then I totally forgot about it until right now. You'd said that Ellie found something or Ellie saw something and she was like, you guys should like change this or do that. And I'm like, oh yeah, good point. And then just forgot about it. Do you remember what that was?
No. I have to look at the messages and ask her. I don't remember.
I may have done it. I may have like gone home and done it. I don't remember, but it just popped into my mind right now. So we'll have to double check on that and find out. See if we.
Yeah. Hey, I was gonna say we may be going over to your area this coming weekend, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. That'd be good.
I think, and sorry, today is completely off topic, but there's a large flea market in Atlanta, right outside Atlanta. La Vaquita, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one it is?
Which one? Say it again.
La Vaquita.
I've not been to that one.
It's supposed to be the largest swap meet or flea market in the U.S. indoors.
Oh, dang.
So, as I mentioned, we have family coming over and they're interested in taking a look at that. This is only 3 hours away from here. But stay tuned because I will definitely be going up there. And I'm curious for all the food that is within the flea market. So I'm excited to go over there and try that out.
Oh, it'll be good because there's a few local ones here that I take the girls to, and they really like it. So the food is like it's pretty good, pretty good.
Yes. So yeah, I'll let you know. Maybe we can meet up over there, you and Tony and some of the kids. That'll be
Yep.
great. Awesome, awesome. And there's also a Mexican buffet, like brunch buffet that we want to try it out. We may not do it this weekend because of time, but that's another trip that we're gonna head over there and do at some point. So it'll be. I try to get Sean and Kara so we can all go and have lunch in Atlanta somewhere.
Dang, you know all the good spots. I don't know any of the good spots in Atlanta, and you're like, go here, go here, go here. I'm like, okay,
And you live closer than I do, right?
right?
When it comes to food, I'll do my research and always curious to try new places because I enjoy cooking and I enjoy food. So
Well, being celiac put a damper on our food exploration ventures because I can't have gluten. So there's
Yeah.
only so many places that I can eat at, and if the plate like most like the hole in the wall Mexican restaurants that are like the best
oh yeah,
food. Well, I don't speak Spanish, so there's the language barrier, and sometimes it's hard to communicate what gluten is, and so it's just I don't get to try a lot of places, but we do what we can do.
yeah. I'm supposed to be allergic to a number of things, but I still eat it. I'll keep it like that because then I get in trouble with someone in the house. But so far I'm okay. So that's the beautiful thing. But yeah, we'll let you know when we plan this trip, and certainly we can look at the menu and look at you know and make that happen. It'll be great to meet up with you guys there and have some lunch and explore a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Um, Speaking of like meeting up and like time calendaring, time blocking everything, what do you feel like with agents is the number one thing that keeps them from kind of like using a calendar or time blocking? Do you think it's just not wanting to have to bother with putting something in a calendar, or do you think it's just lack of knowledge on the technology?
Well, I think one of the things we're going to talk about uh, today is CRM, which essentially will help with that process, right? Um, but that's a great question because coming into the real estate space, I think a lot of agents think that they have the freedom to do, they don't have to work 9 to 5, and that essentially a calendar is I fill it in as I see fit for my days, right? Oh, I'm meeting with this client today. I'm meeting with that seller today. I'm showing this number of properties today. Um, and over time, if you continue to do that, I think you're missing a lot of great opportunities, or you're not having the level of success that you thought you will have by that time. And one of the main reason, and I'm here this from a number of people, is being accountable to your calendar, right? Holding yourself accountable for prospecting, respecting that time frame to continue to prospect. If you're having a scheduled appointment time, being accountable to that. And the more you do that and the more you stay consistent in that, essentially your clients are going to respect those time frames, right? So they're not calling you outside of their time frame. They're not asking you to show them a house at 10 o'clock p.m. or this or that because you live by that calendar. You are accountable to that calendar, and you can scale at a much faster rate, right? And having a CRM, it's a game changer. Wouldn't you think so?
I do think so. I was actually going to pull up our CRM so that everybody can.
Have you talked to agents that been in the business for some time and don't have a CRM?
I have. I've actually talked to quite a few agents who either don't have a CRM or they just don't want to use a CRM that they do have. They have one maybe provided by the brokerage, and they just have the kind of the mentality of, well, I've been using my cell phone and my Google Sheet, or my cell phone and my little binder here for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. So that works for me. I don't need to do anything new. But then you say, okay, well, you're here because you want more leads, right? Well, yeah, but what I have works for me. But does it? Does it if you're here because you want more leads? Because if it was working for you, you would be so busy that you don't need any new systems. You don't need any new things.
Absolutely. And the beauty of it is also not just real estate agents. Think about it. If you work on if you have your own business and you work directly with consumers, even business to business, you need to keep track of all this conversation of all your clients and follow-ups and automation and build that consistency of business with them and referrals. So essentially it applies to every business out there, especially if you're doing working directly with consumers.
Now this CRM that we're looking at is a demo account. So there's not any information in here. Like there's no leads coming in on this one except for test leads. So I'm going to use this one to kind of give everybody an example of what the CRM is and what it can do for them. So we were talking about calendar. The CRM has a calendar section here, and it actually has the ability to have multiple calendars. You can have multiple different calendars for multiple different people. And then you can have groups. Well, you could if my blue circle of death would stop spinning, but I'm live streaming and I'm trying to do the slides in the Zoom. So sometimes it's going to be a little slow. Well, we're just going to go back out of that for right now. But you do have the ability in this to calendar all of your events, and you would sync this into whatever calendar you're using, whether you're using, your Google Calendar on your phone, your iOS calendar. This can all be your Outlook calendar for work, whatever your work calendar is, can be synced with this so that all your appointments can show up on one calendar.
And you can share that link for anyone so that they can book an appointment, correct?
Correct. So you can embed your calendar, which if you don't know what that is, it's like if you have a web page and you want the whole calendar to show up on that page, the CRM has the capability of doing that. Or you can share a link where it's just its own little landing page and someone can fill in their time. And actually, I can show you what that looks like. Let's see if it'll let me.
And essentially, something I also do is I pre-mark my calendar, right? My Google Calendar, I mark it down like, okay, this block period is for me to do this. And I have it free. So let's say it's appointment times, right? I mark my calendar, my appointment times. Of course, I leave it free so that any appointments are booked, I know that they're gonna book within the time block. As well as if I'm talking to anyone, I can quickly look at my calendar and say, okay, I have these time blocks available, these time frames, and I can quickly add them or provide them a quick response as to say, my availability for anytime they want to chat or meet over Zoom. So it allows you to stay organized and quickly at a glance you say, okay, I'm available this time, I'm available at that time. And you don't have to search around, hey, I got, 3 o'clock today, I got at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Are you available at this time? Regardless of the time frame that or when you're talking to someone, your availability for time, for calls, for showing properties. So allows you to stay consistent.
It allows you to look professional, because if you're not using a calendar and you double book and you have to cancel somebody or have to bump somebody, it just makes you look like you're not good at organizing not only your time, but their time as well. Especially if you're doing multiple showings for multiple different people and you have multiple homes that you're looking at. There's already so many variables in that situation that you can't control. If you're a new agent or if you're thinking about becoming an agent, sometimes you will have an entire Saturday planned out with showings. And What is that? That sounds great. Showings. Well, in Georgia, we have an app called Showing Time. And what you do is you go in and you request a showing of a house. So you hit a button and you say, I would like to show this house at like 3 p.m. So say I have 5 houses that I want to see. I have to figure out how long it's going to take me to get from each house to the next house. I have to figure out how long we want to look at the house for. And then I have to see if they're available. So if they're available, I put them in the order of like our route, how long it's going to take to get from one to the other, plus about, 10 to 30 minutes to look at each house. So you have your whole day mapped out, right? And then you hit request, send all those requests off. Everything's in line and it works great. 9 times out of 10, the middle house will come back, or the second to last house will come back and say, oh, I'm not available at that time, but I'm available at this time. And that time completely throws off the entire schedule. So now you have to kind of reorganize everything so that it's a pattern that makes sense. And with all of those variables that you can't control, you need to make sure you at least know when you're available that day to do those showings. Because if you have everything lined up and for some reasons the stars and the planets all line up and all those showings get accepted and they're all in a nice line, a nice straight road up the highway, and then you're like, oh crap, I forgot, I'm busy at 1 o'clock.
Yep. I made a mistake one of I scheduled the appointment just like that. And by the way, we have showing time here, and I use also RPR. In RPR, you can map out the showing routes with all the different properties you might have as well. But I scheduled the appointment because the property is vacant. Not a problem. Normally, as my experience, if property is vacant, I normally get a response within 5 minutes. Good to go, right? So I scheduled this appointment because it's on our way, on our route to the next property. The agent doesn't pick up the phone. And I'm calling. And I called her the day before too. So it's not like I wasn't, in contact. And I called her multiple times. And I called her half hour before the showing time. And I'm like, it's on my way. By the time I get there, it's 30 minutes. She should answer. No answer to the phone call until an hour later. I'm like, I didn't show the property. I went around a day and I told my client, look, they haven't responded. Halfway through is when she called back. I'm like, look, I might be able to, if they're still interested, I will go back to the house. Essentially, we went back and showed the house. And guess what happened afterwards, after I showed the house?
What happened?
Call me more often, right? To get feedback on the property. But prior to that, she no answer the phone. And I'm like, and it happens more often than what people think about. People don't answer their phone. But yeah, it's important to have your calendar up to date so that you can facilitate the process of selling property. Look professional. Because I was gonna say, what happens if you get a call, a live transfer call, right? And you're booking a in-person call right away. That's the goal. You book an appointment from an appointment. We always say that. We live by that. Book an appointment from an appointment. If you don't have your calendar up to date, do you want to be on the phone with that lead and say, hold on, I'm not available tomorrow. I'm not available next week. What time? I can squish you in here at that time. Next thing you know, something else come up for you and you want to cancel for last minute to that new lead that you're going to meet. That's not a good first impression for that lead, right?
No.
What are the chances you're going to get him back on the phone and agree to another meeting?
Not likely, because there's always going to be another agent right there ready to meet with that person on the spot. So
Who's ready to go?
Yep, ready to go.
So, and we've seen it happen. We've done some transfer to some agents and they're not ready to go. The next person wants for that lead. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. So staying organized is a very important aspect of the business.
And what is it Sean says? There's no such thing as a missed opportunity, just an opportunity that went to somebody else.
Yeah, I have it right here. I have that. You know how we go by sticky notes?
Yep.
Yeah, that's sticky notes right here. I have so many sticky notes right around my desk. They're all around. And it's mainly quotes like that, you know.
Well, I love sticky notes to keep. I do mine electronically. They're on my computer, so they're little
I
sticky
have,
notes on my computer. But
I have another one here. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change.
yeah, that's a good one too. That's a good one
You know,
too. Well, let's look at the calendar here and kind of give you a walkthrough of what your leads will see when they land on your calendar page. So all of this is customizable to your specific brand and style. Whatever it is that your product is, it can all be adapted to fit your specific needs and your specific niche. I had this done up. This is my strategy session calendar when I'm talking to either lenders or agents about cloud and what cloud can do for them. So it would simply say, your hook, book an appointment, the name of your calendar, how long the appointments are. This time can be changed. I just have it for 15 minutes. And then the date, and then a little bit about your calendar, like a little bio for your calendar, what it is. Then over here, you have the options to make an appointment. So your availability, your available time is here. And then what they would do is they would click on the day that they want. I must be busy on the 21st because I have nothing available on the 21st. You come over here, click whatever day they want, and then they can come here and click on an appointment. So they can also change the time to their time. So for me, I'm in, the East Coast. If they're on the Pacific Coast, they could change it to that time. For you, Andres, we could change it to Central Time. Whatever time frame the person who's booking the appointment is in is what the time zone they'll pick. Then they come over here, pick a time, hit select, and then they would fill out this form, name, last name, email, phone number. Again, all these forms can be adapted and modified to whatever it is that you're wanting to get from this form. Whatever information you're wanting to gather can be put here. And then I actually have a little disclaimer of, they're agreeing to text messages. And then they would just fill out this and hit send and hit schedule meeting. You can add a little picture here too if you want to. Now, this calendar isn't linked to this specific page. So if I enter the information, it's not going to show up because that calendar is not linked to this page. It's linked to my page. But if it would have shown up wherever I would have booked that appointment. That little appointment would be here. And they would also show up in the opportunities where you could come in here and then see in the pipeline where they would fall. And we have different pipelines.
Nice. And let's say if you are going on vacation or you have a large event to attend for a weekend for a couple of days, you can just quickly on your main calendar create an event to block off the calendar for the whole day, and none of those appointments will be available. So you don't have to do anything on this end. You can do it directly from your calendar, whichever is easier, and to block out those dates.
Yep. So just if you're using your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, whatever, you would just go in, create your event like normal. And like you said, Andres, it would carry over to this calendar. As long as you have it integrated into the CRM, it would carry it over. And then you would be good to go. Actually, now that you said that, that's why I don't have anything on the 21st, because I have my grandbabies. So I have that day blocked off because I'm going to have them. So that's why that's there.
See, you remember. That's good. That's good. And it's so important. You can manage everything here from the CRM. You see all the appointments. You see anyone coming into your system, into your pipeline. All your contacts that are creative automatically. So it's a great way to stay organized, stay on top of things.
What's really nice about this platform as well is it has the ability to take payments. There's a lot of things that I don't think most people know that this does, which is super cool and super helpful because it really is all in one. You have the ability here to do invoices, to do orders, to do subscriptions, to send payment links. You can have coupons. There's so many things that you can do with this as far as like running your entire business from this account. We have, actually, let's go back up to marketing. You have the ability to do social media and have a social media planner. We have the ability, if you go onto sites, to have webinars, to have blogs, websites, funnels, a store. You could have a digital storefront. You can create the forms like for the calendar. That's what I was talking about before, was that information for the calendar. You can make quizzes to put online. You can make a quiz and people can find out what kind of potato they are.
Yep. I think I saw all of these. We've been using the platform, right? And my daughter, she's starting a catering business. So this is my recommendation. My number one recommendation to her is like, look, you're looking to build a website, right? But before you get into that, let me show you what this can do. And she was completely amazed of all the capabilities of the CRM. So I'm gonna set her up so she can start growing her business. And just on Tech Tuesday, you can create a website through it as well. You can have an AI assistant to answer the phone for you as well. So I dove a little bit into all of that with her, and she's like, "What? That's incredible!" So and like I said, for any type of business, she's gonna be open up her own catering business in San Diego. Eventually, I'm gonna pass you guys the information so anyone listening can use her for any events. But it's incredible that you have accessibility to do all of that through one place, right? And make life easier for everybody, right? Not just for yourself, but for the customer as well.
Exactly. It makes everything so easy, organized, accessible. And then also one of the things that I really love about it is that you have the ability to have communities and to have groups. And what groups are is an organized place for all of the people that you're wanting to share content with to be able to come, unite, and grow and learn together. And we've talked about this before, but I'm going to show you guys the community. I have it linked right here. I have a menu item here, so you can come right into the Cloud Connect community. This is the Cloud Connect community with all of our cloud agents, where we have our discussions here. We have different channels, events, questions, celebrations, open houses, and then we have our learning. We have all of our courses that we teach, all of our free downloads, all of our marketing materials, all of our trainings are here. So here's that calendar we were talking about. This is the calendar for the group. The calendar's there. And then we have our leaderboard because we do run competitions and have games inside the group as well. So if you have a business where a community group is something that you think would benefit you, the CRM would be perfect for you, because then you can have all of your people within that group.
And it's something you can use not only with your, with your team, with your group, but you can also create a community for your clients on there, right? If you're hosting events, if you're doing webinars, now you have clients in that community. You can provide them content. You can, build that network of clients in there and build your pipeline for more business on the road. So it's a great way to connect and continue to bring value to the people around you.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the reputation and reporting. So one thing that everybody who owns a business who really, really needs to be thinking about their Google reviews. And obviously this is the demo account, so I don't have this set up yet, but this is the area of the CRM which you would go to connect your Google My Business profile, to get your Google reviews, and to make sure that you're standing out and you're on top of that Google search. And it's an awesome tool. I really do just like how everything here is organized, laid out. It's all here. What the CRM does is eliminate the need to have, $20 here, $30 there, $19 here, $9.99 there on all these different features, all these different apps, all these different platforms, when you can just have one CRM that does everything for you, from your social media to your reputation management to report running, to billing, to affiliate marketing, to websites, like you name it, this thing can do it. Texting, voice call, everything's recorded. It is amazing. It really is amazing.
It is. It's just, and they continue to add more features or improve up on the ones that are already there, huh? Seems like every month something else is coming up. With all the AI being implemented in so many different areas, it's great to see that it's facilitating the that work for us, for agents or anyone in using this type of platforms, CRM. Uh, it's
What is your
great.
favorite part of the CRM, Andres?
Honestly, if you're calling, if you're prospecting, I like the fact that it record the calls. I love that. Uh, Something that we always say, and we always hear Sean say, right? Like if you're at a networking event and you have a spaghetti in your face, you want people to tell you you have a spaghetti in your face. Like, are you going to look? People are gonna be looking at you like, what's wrong with this guy? What does he have a spaghetti in his face? Is that part of his outfit or what? But having the calls recorded allows you to review those calls, improve, get feedback, understand, what where you could have done better. And not only that, if you are driving, you're not able to take notes. You have those notes recorded. You can listen to the call, get the transcript. You have that important information there, um, and you don't miss on anything. Because imagine if the client is trying to give you their contact information, and you're driving, you're not able to take notes, and you just misspelled the phone number. Now you don't have that, or miswrote the email. Like, oh, how do I get them? How do I get a hold of them again? So I love that aspect of things, that you can have the calls recorded, and essentially use that to get better at it, right? Because there's always little things that we can make adjustments and continue to improve on. And the social media planner. How many times are people sitting out there? And I was one of those. I don't like sitting down and posting on Facebook. I think, as of yet, I'm not using my social media planner the way I should have. Actually, I should. Um, but it's one of those things that you can sit down for an hour one day and plan for the whole month. You know, or you can create the content for the whole month, and so in one sitting you can schedule it. So it's a beautiful thing that should be used more often. And the emails, man, we just talk about the emails on Tuesday. The ability to send emails to all your contacts and have the analytics. Who opens your email? When did they open it? What happened? That's an important data that allows you to get better at it, or send better content, or improve uh, on what you're sending, right? The content you're sending, be able to get more engagement from the people you're sending it to. It's having all those metrics, all that data available that the CRM keeps track. I think it's another important thing that I love, um, and and it goes unnoticed. People don't use as often as it should.
They really don't. There's so much that the CRM can do. I think, and I was going to say real estate agents, but I don't necessarily think it's limited to real estate agents. I think people in general will pay for something to better their business, to get more leads, and then forget about it and not use it. And I know I've been guilty of that myself in the past too. But it seems like a common thread is you'll get a telemarketing call, you'll get, a call on the phone saying, hey, we have, we have leads in your area, and for $30 a month, you can blah, 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 blah. And so you're like, okay, fine, you sign up, and then you kind of listen to what they're saying, but you don't put in the effort, like we were talking about earlier. Don't put in the work, don't really invest in learning the product that you just bought. And so it just sits there. And then $30 a month, $19 a month, whatever, doesn't really seem like that much money in the moment. But month after month after month after month of just letting something sit there and not using it, especially if, kind of to what I was saying earlier, if you're paying for a social media platform, and you're paying for a content platform, and you're paying for a funnels platform, and then you're also paying like Zapier, something like that. So you've got $19 here, $9 there, $25 here, $50 there. It adds up really quickly.
Absolutely. You at some point you got to sit down and look at all the things that you bought to help you in your real estate space or your business, and see what you're actually using or not. And then with everything that's available now through a CRM, find a CRM that can cover most of those things and realize, okay, CRM is only going to cost me this much, and I have all these features, and I'm already paying for all of these things. When you sit down and put those numbers into place, you'll be surprised how much you're spending on things you're not using.
You really would. And let's also put this into perspective. This is a fake account information here, so it's not invading anybody's privacy. But let's say that you're paying for a company to do text messages because you don't want to use your cell phone, right? So let's say you're paying WhatsApp, or you're paying a different message provider, and you have that app. And then you have your work email, whatever your work email is, and you're primarily using those two. But then you also bought what's one of those mailbox? I can't think of it off the top of my head now, but the companies that do bulk email and they do the email campaigns. So you've got your text message and then you've got your emails going out. Those two platforms don't talk to each other. So if you want to see the communication that I had with, let's say I want to see the communication that I had with my lead Casey here, I would have to go check this app and see what the text was. And then I have to go check the email app and see what the last email was. But in this case, you don't have to do that. I'm going to go into this one because I think this one might have some stuff going on here. Maybe not. I don't know. No, guess not. Well, this is me. So this is my information. If anybody wants to steal it, there's my email address. If you come into the contacts file here, you can email and you can text all right within the platform. So you have the ability to send a text message, send a WhatsApp, or send an email. I was looking for one that had all three, but here we go.
How about the snippets within that?
Yeah, that's even better. I even love that. So you have text message, WhatsApp, email, all here. So you can have, and right here is where actually the conversations would take place. So instead of checking multiple apps, you would just check here and you would see text message, email, they would all be here. And what you were talking about is the snippets. So insert snippets. So what snippets are pieces of text that you would frequently say. Like, what's a common text that you think an agent would get if they text somebody and I say, hey, are you interested in buying or selling a house? And the person says, yes, I'm interested in buying a home. What do you think is something that the agent would probably say to every single person that texts, yes, I'm interested in buying a home back?
What time frame are you looking to buy a home? Or are you actively working with an agent? That's one question. Like, if they reach out to them, do you ask them right away? Are you actively working with an agent? Because they just reach out to you. So probably not, right?
That actually is one of my snippets on my account. My snippet is, have you signed a buyer brokerage agreement with a realtor? Or if it's a listing, have you signed a listing agreement? Because if they've signed that, then you know legally, ethically, you can't talk to them anymore. But if they say, no, I haven't signed, then they're fair game to talk to. So that can be a snippet. You could make a snippet where it says, if they say, yes, I'm looking to buy a home, you could have your snippet say, awesome. Where are you looking to buy? Like you said, what's your time frame? Where are you looking to buy? And have these little snippets made out so that you're not constantly having to text.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
That's a whole topic in itself, because you can go in there and customize that with a custom value so it replies with the name of that particular lead every time, regardless of who you're sending it to. So that's a whole number of ways we can do this, as well as the email template that goes out, how you can create those custom values and workflows. So I'm amazed every time I dive into the workflows and the snippets and the email templates. I'm amazed how easy, right, things could be if you sit down and set this up, because oftentimes we're doing that continuously, repetitive work, because we're not using the platform the way that we should, right? And another key thing there before you move out, the availability to put notes for each client contact, right? How important are the notes? How I always say, how are you going to remember a conversation from 90 days ago? from last year, you know, if you're talking to 5, 10 clients every day, how are you remembering everything? 5 days, 10 days, a month down the road. So it's so important to place notes after every conversation. So that follow up is a lot easier, and shows that you care, that you're listening every time.
100%. I can't tell you how many times, even in the past when I was in production and we were working with rent to own, you would get a phone call come in. They came off your ad. They're an internet lead. You're talking to them. You call them back, and somebody will say something like, "Yeah, I'm interested, but it's not a good time right now. My mom's in the hospital, and I'm taking care of her." Or, "Hey, I can't talk right now. I'm walking to the doctor's office with my daughter. Can you give me a call back later?" And keep in mind that when you're doing these calls, if you're the one doing an outreach call to that person, if they're not expecting that call, you're catching them at whatever they're doing in their everyday life. So it may not always be the best time for them to hear your pitch. But if they tell you something like that, like you said, write that down.
Yeah.
Their mom's in the hospital. They're taking their daughter to the doctor. Their dog just passed away. What's the reason why they couldn't take your call? That way, when you call them back, or set up an automated text, a scheduled text that will go out in a day or so and say, "Hey, thinking about you, just wanted to check, make sure everything was okay. I know when I called you, it was a bad time." Leave it at that. Just say, "I'm making sure everything's okay." You don't have to go into are you ready to buy a house? Just leave it at just making sure everything's okay. Build that personal connection with them.
Always. We've heard that number of times in the What's Working Wednesday. You have to have conversations that are not related to real estate. You need to build a relationship with the people, and eventually the real estate conversations will happen because they already know your agent, right? But you have to build that relationship, and you need to have conversations that are not real estate related in order to make that happen. But we see it all the time. Dive into the real estate space, and next thing you know, they're ghosted.
Yep.
That's the only focus.
And I think
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think it depends too on the nature of the call, how the call is going. If they're feeling like they're being interrogated, if you're like, "When do you want to move? How many bedrooms do you need? What do you do for a living? Where are you planning on moving? Why are you moving?" Don't be interrogating. Have a conversation.
That's it. I think I was some number of interrogation calls before, so they're like, okay. And even now, when I get the calls, I get sales calls every day, about 10 times every day. Sometimes I answer some of them just to see how things are going, right? and see what their strategy is, and it feels exactly like that, like interrogation. So when are you traveling? Have you traveled to Orlando, Mexico City, there and there, Las Vegas? But yeah, it's did not make it feel like an interrogation, and just have a conversation.
We got a call last night in the car. I'm trying to remember how it went. It was on Tony's phone, and it was for some, I can't remember what it was for, but he was like, maybe at the beginning of next year, maybe the beginning of next year. And the guy on the phone was like, "Okay, so next year?" And Tony's like, "Yeah, the beginning of next year." And he's like, "Well, what does that mean? Like, so I'll call you in like a couple of months?" And Tony's like, "No, next year." And he's like, okay. And again, he's like, "So in like 4 or 5," or he worded it again to where it was like, "Not next year." And Tony's like, "Next year." Next year means next year, because the guy kept trying to get the appointment before next year. And Tony's like, "No, dude, next year. I'm not doing anything until next year." And then the guy just hung up. Like, that apparently wasn't the answer he wanted. He didn't want next year. He wanted like next month. And when he didn't get that, he kept pushing for next month. So don't push for something. If they say, what I do in that situation, if someone's like, "Yeah, I want to buy or sell my home, but not for 6 months," or if we're working with agents who are looking to have cloud come into their business and they're like, "I really want to do this, but I can't do it for 6 months or so." Okay, awesome. No problem. is it cool if I call you in about 3 months just to touch bases, make sure we're still on track for 6 months? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Let's keep in touch. Make it a no pressure phone call just to check in. Don't try to rush the appointment they said they weren't ready for.
Yeah, that's really it. I do the same, and you know this with the follow up. I just check in from time to time to see how things are going. We talk about it on Tuesday. On Monday, I reach out to this agent that I talked to back in January, and I just reach out and see how things are going. Hey, you know how how's business going? And that was it. We had a conversation, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I actually had you on top of mind. I'm out of the country for the next 2 weeks, but I'm interested in getting started once I get back." I'm like, "That's great. Let's have a chat afterwards." And I just called to see how things are going. So it happens. And that's always me, and no pressure whatsoever. Just if there's a way for me to help you, there is. I want to help you. Yeah. But if it doesn't make sense for you, take care.
Yep. And put everything in the notes. Put everything in the notes so that you know what happened. If you use a note taker like Fathom, there's another one that had like an animal name, but I can't remember what it was.
Just the otter.
Otter. There we go. Yep,
Yeah.
that's it. If you put the link in there, you could copy the description from the notes, put that in there. That way you have it to go back and reference before you make that next call. That way you know what you're talking about to that person. What did that person want? You're not having to start from zero because you have it in your notes. And real quick, I know we're almost out of time. Time flew by today. I just want to give you a little tour of what these are. So the little clock is activity. You can see all the activity that's happened, whether they came in off a funnel, if they came in off an ad, all the activity is right there. Then you have tasks. This is where you can assign things to be done. Like you can assign a task to yourself to call them back in 6 months. You can assign a check-in in 3 months, however you want to do that. You can also assign it to different people. If you have staff on your account that you want to assign that to, then you have your notes, which we've been talking about. You have calendar where you can see their appointments, make appointments, cancel appointments, or schedule appointments. You have documents. You can send documents, receive documents. This is a cool little spot here to have. And then you have payments and transactions. So you have your estimates, invoice, subscriptions, transactions. And here you have associations. And these are all things that are their own lesson entirely, but those are the capabilities of those. And over the next few months, we'll break into some of those and talk about what those do and how they can really help your business.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun as we dive into those particular areas. It's going to be fun showing the capabilities of what can be done, how easy it is to get done, and implementing them, right? It's one thing we can show people how to do it, but it's another thing using them and having people implement them in their business. Because it's a great way to continue to stay productive, stay organized, and when you're ready to scale, you have all the tools necessary to scale with your team. All right. And man, can you believe that? 1 hour, just about wrapping things up now.
I know. I can't believe it. We didn't even get to our next segment that we wanted to do. So I guess that'll be later. At a later point, we can talk about that.
Absolutely. And at some point, I want to get the audience input on because we're thinking of doing like a throwback Thursday on real estate deals. You know, how were real estate transactions done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? So once a month, bring one of these transactions, look back into history and bring out one of these transactions locally, nationally, and dive into the specific of how those transactions were done and compared to how things are today. And another thing we want to talk about is what, the stories?
Yeah, stories. But I was going to say real quick before we wrap up, when I first became an agent, one of the agents that was at that brokerage told me before super boxes and before lock boxes, they had all the keys to all the homes hung in this lockbox at the brokerage. And if you wanted to show a home, you had to go to the brokerage, get the key for that house, check it out, show the house, and come back to the office and put the key back and log it back in. And you had to do that for every, like, you couldn't just take all the keys for the house that day, because what if somebody else wanted to show one of those houses when you were also showing? So you couldn't just hold the key hostage. Imagine having to drive back to your brokerage between every single showing.
So it was like a car dealership.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Let me get the keys. Yeah, just imagine. And you don't get paid for gas, right?
No. We're just doing all that driving. I think I'd be like, okay, we're doing one house a day, guys. One house a day.
Seriously, there's no 3-4 houses in one day. It's impossible.
No, technology really streamlined showing homes.
So those little details, how important are they to today's business, right? To be able to have that sentry box, access the properties anywhere at any time, and just make it happen, right? Not only for the agents themselves, but for the consumer. How much easier it is nowadays to buy a house than compared to the sun. So I'm interested in doing that and learning on both sides of the things, because as a consumer, I'm curious, how was this transaction handled so years ago, and now how easy it is to find a real estate agent, to find a house, right? We have a lot of clients buying house from out of states. Now you don't have to walk a house to be able to buy it. Just imagine that.
Easy.
So incredible. Another thing we want to talk about at some point is try to bring some stories, for horror stories in the real estate space, right? And at some point also, I would like to have clients. Maybe if it's not our clients from other agents that we know that, not necessarily talk about their experience, but talk about their experience overall with the real estate as a buyer or seller. I'm curious to learn from their point of view, how could this improve, what worked for them, what didn't work. So essentially, I would like to have somebody on board to talk about that. So, but yeah, this is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Real Talk with Heather and Andres, another episode of talking real estate just the way it is.
Yep. And like you said, that's it for us today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share our channel. And like Andres said, if you guys want to be a part of Real Talk, just DM us, let us know. We'll be happy to share that link over and bring you guys up and talk to you guys on the podcast. Yeah,
absolutely. Even if it's like this, just to have a 3-way conversation at some point. Join us on the link that we share, or let us know ahead of time. We can put that together, and man, to be fun.
So anybody that has a story to share, a question to ask, or a product that they would like to demo, just let us know.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for next week, and Real Talk, Heather and Andres.
Yep. See you guys later.